And let's welcome on members of the 1987 Ephrata football team that went 9-1 in the regular season, captured a Section 2 title, and went to the district playoffs. And at one point was the only team that had been to the District 3 playoffs for the Ephrata program. That has since changed in 2023. Ephrata Mounts are back in the playoffs right now. So guys, welcome on. I'm excited to hear your thoughts about that. And this is a big deal. Another team is finally joining you guys kind of in the history books here for Ephrata. So we can kind of get your thoughts on that. And, you know, when you found out, Eric, when you heard that another team was joining you guys finally, how did that feel?
I think it's great. You know, the more the merrier. I wish it would have taken so long, and I wish it was a bigger group that joined ours. I think it's great.
Yeah, how about you, Scott?
Yeah, this team's putting up a lot of points. It's really exciting to see them shine.
Yeah, and John, when you heard the news?
Yeah, I saw it in the paper, and I was actually following them throughout the year in the paper, and I was excited. I could see potential that they could go pretty far this year, and I was excited to see that they won the last game and got into the playoffs, and it's just a great time for them.
Yeah, they tied your guys' 9-1 record. It's the best record since 1987. There's been some other teams that have gotten close, including the 2000 team got to, I think, 8-2.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that I think had the best shot at getting in at, you know, other than this team. And of course, last year, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Ephrata was right on the cut line last year. They just missed it. So it would have been last year. It's finally this year. Have you guys noticed what these guys do well? Does anybody have an opinion on kind of what you see from this team that has gotten them back into the playoffs and playing so well?
Well, in my opinion, I think, sorry, John, they're very similar to our team as far as, you know, as a running back, we had a great O-line, and, you know, we went as far as our O-line would take us, and we had a great bunch. We even had great backups. And the last couple of years, I've noticed watching the current team is they have the O-line play. I mean, they have the bodies, their athletic bodies, and their O-line I think has been kind of the understory to their success. And I think that was our success as well. I mean, our O-line was great. So I think there's a big similarity there.
Yeah, and John, you were on the O-line. So what about your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just going to say, they remind me of our team. We were like a one big family. We came up together, you know, playing as freshmen or whatever. We came up together, a bunch of us. And these guys did the same thing. Looks like they're really tight, and they're very well coached. And same exact as our team. So
yeah, they've had to come from a pretty down time in the program where they were stringing together a losing streak, and now they've flipped it completely. You know, Scott, when we talk about the 1987 team, you were the QB that year. What were some of the strengths that you guys had that made you so good?
Well, like John said, we all kind of came up playing together from junior high, and just the team chemistry, just like the team has this year. So we're just so proud of them, and the way they build a sense of community and everybody behind them. It's very exciting.
All right, so does anybody remember going throughout that 1987 season? Did you guys know you were good from the beginning, or did it build as the season went on and then you finally got to week 10? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Me personally, I knew we were good.
Okay.
I mean, just the way we played together. I remember we lost the one game. Then we had a banquet after that for some reason. And Coach Whitmer said, all we have to do is win the rest of the games and we'll be in the playoffs. And everybody started laughing like it couldn't be done. And we went out and we won the rest of the season out. Just walk on the field knowing that you have an advantage, and I just had that feeling every time we walked out in the field that we were going to win.
How about you guys?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we pretty much won like our whole way coming up through midgets and, you know, junior high. And then I remember when we won 18, we won junior high. And I don't remember if we were undefeated or not. I don't remember that, but I know we'd won every step up. So now we're seniors. I think we all kind of had that expectations on ourselves.
Yeah, we had some down years, 10th and 11th grade.
Yeah.
So I think coming up our senior year, we knew we were going to be good, but we were still underdogs, which was nice. I like that position.
Yeah.
It must have been fun, yeah, to know
nobody
you were
gave us a
good, but you had to
chance.
prove it. And Eric, it's so funny when I read the articles in the newspaper. I go back and people tell me stories. Eric's name keeps coming up, guys, as a guy that was, and then I read the articles and it says, "Oh, the defense was trying to shut down Eric." How was that for you, Scott? As the quarterback, as the guy leading the offense, and you knew, guys, that the defense was going to try and shut down Eric. What was the mindset of your team?
Well, I think the mindset was you can't shut down Eric. He had over 400 yards more than the second leading rusher in the whole conference. So you weren't going to shut him down. And with our line, it was just easy, just hand the ball off. And I mean, we also had some big fullbacks too. George Ulrich, Tim Gaiman to block for him. But it was just fun.
John?
Yeah, I mean, give the ball to Eric and just let him go. Give him a little bit of a crease and he could take it. That's all he needed, was a little bit of space.
Were you a confident runner, Eric? What was that for you?
I'm going to go back to my O-line. I mean, what's so impressive is I mean, like John, for example, I mean, he could run as fast as I could and he's playing line. What was so special about our group, I think, is even if a guy went down, we had a backup that was probably be a starter on another team somewhere. Yeah. We had like 5 of them. So we were just we had depth. And if a guy went down, it was the next guy stepped up and filled in. That's what I think was most impressive about our team. We had so much depth at all positions. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot. John got injured a little bit. You missed 1 game, John, or 2 with your hand. I forget.
Missed 1 game, yeah.
But the next guy stepped up, and then when he came back, it was now his backup had 2 games experience. So it was just depth. I think is really key, and I see a lot of that in this year's team as well. I mean, they're deep on both sides. Now, I'm not sure about this, but do they have just an O-line and a D-line? I'm not sure if they have many guys going both ways.
I think there's like 2 guys that go both ways, but then I think they have it split. Yeah, which again at Ephrata is usually everyone's playing all the time.
Yeah. Well, we had that was similar to our team, is where we had some guys just playing defense, and just some O-linemen as well, just playing offense. But that's how deep we were, and that's what this team reminds me of. Their depth, I think, is there, and and now another championship, which is great.
Do you guys remember the week 1 game against Cocalico when Eric ran back a 72-yard punt for a touchdown to get the season scoring started? Does anybody remember that?
I don't remember that.
You remember that?
What the newspaper said.
Well, you did your homework.
They said Cocalico got the ball, they punted, and Eric ran it back, and it was the first touchdown of the season for you guys.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
No, you don't even remember that.
No.
All right.
I think it was played in Ephrata, wasn't it? Was it home?
It might have been. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I do remember. I mean, the crowd was just crazy, because he ran that back. I remember a little bit of it, but I couldn't tell you that.
He had so many touchdowns, we just can't keep track.
It was that effort.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Well, yeah.
All the highlight reels of Eric.
So I've been tracking. I went back and I tracked a little bit of your touchdowns, and it turns out that you scored at least 1 touchdown in every game but 2 that season, including the playoff game. Do you remember what games you didn't score?
I'm going to guess Central.
Yeah.
And maybe Elko, because I think we got up pretty big on Elko. And Coach Whitmer, if we had a 13-point lead, Coach Whitmer pulled all the starters and put the backups in. So I don't think any of us played much that Elko game.
It was
am I right?
It was week 4, which I think might have been the Central game. And then it was actually week 10. You guys were locked in a 0-0 game with E-Town for the section.
E-Town, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And
but look who stepped up. Scott stepped up. That's
broke
what I'm
that
saying.
one wide open.
Yeah, Scott, tell us about that. I read that you had the interception that led to the points and helped Ephrata win that week.
Yep.
Well, we were terrified of Andy Brawl. That guy could throw a football 70 yards. So I just was in the right place at the right time. But, the coaches, got to give the credit to the coaches, too. They put me out at outside linebacker that game. And, I mean, what a great coaching staff we had with Merv and Shelley and all those guys. And Some of the funniest stories were Coach Dicker Scheid and back in junior high football. So we just had such an amazing coaching staff. It was a lot of fun.
It must have been such a fun season for you guys. What was the feeling going into the playoff game? Obviously, you have to take on Bishop McDevitt. They've established a bit of a kind of a reputation as being a really solid team from the Harrisburg area. But you guys, from the feeling I'm getting, were a pretty confident team. So what was the feeling like? Who wants to lead it off going into that playoff game, the first one for Ephrata?
John, I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, my thoughts are the same throughout the whole season. I mean, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that we could play with them. And I fully expected to win. I didn't care who they were, or how big they were, what kind of reputation they had. Our team was just always, Whitmer always had us up for these games, always. And our confidence was high. I mean, I was expecting to win that game. And we played them tough. We did not get blown out in that game. We played them tough. Nobody gave us a chance, obviously. But that was a fun game. I mean, it was a fun game.
Nice.
A lot of hitting in that game.
How about you guys?
I agree with John. I still think we should have won that game. I still think we could have won that game.
Wow.
I think we were the better team. It just ball didn't bounce our way that game, and unfortunately we lost.
Scott?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a game where we didn't think we could win, but they were definitely a physical team, and it's just any given Friday or Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So after that game, did you guys have any feelings like, oh, Ephrata will just be back in the playoffs all the time, or because this drought's been a long one, did it surprise you that it took this long?
Well, after we graduated, I mean, when we made it, they were only still taking 4 teams.
I know.
So it was hard to get in. I'm not sure when they switched to the larger format, but when we were playing, it was really hard to get in the playoffs. So I wasn't surprised. I knew they were a good team. A couple years behind us, they had a couple classes behind us. They had good teams. But it's really hard to get into the playoffs when they're only taking 4 teams. And so I'm happy that they expanded it because it gives a lot of guys more opportunities to get these memories.
Yeah, John.
If I remember correctly, didn't we kind of like squeak in the playoffs? Wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, the article said that it was down to you and one other team that was going to have to vie for that 4th spot, and it was like power points or something, and you guys got in. Yeah.
I mean, it was like he said, it was pretty hard to get in. I mean, it would have been a shame if we didn't get in because we were a really, really good football team. And, like Eric said, we could have beat McDevitt. And that would have been a great feather in our cap for that program if we could have beat them.
Would have been huge. So I'll leave you with this. I'm sure you guys have plenty of stories to tell, but I'll leave you with this. Eric, this is a trivia question. Eric is the only Ephrata Mount to ever score a touchdown in the District 3 playoffs. Who do you think is going to score the first touchdown for Ephrata this year in the District 3 playoffs? Who will join Eric as the only Mount? What position group, maybe?
I'm going with McCracken, quarterback.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Running or passing, or it doesn't matter?
He's going to run it in. He's going to read that end, and if that end crashes, he's going out.
Okay.
I think he's going to run it in.
Okay. Scott, what do you think?
He's going to pass it in.
Okay. We do think McCracken will be involved. It's exciting.
Yeah, he'll be involved in it.
It's a good team. McCracken holds all the passing records over there now. He's got the touchdown record and the yards record.
He's a good player.
Yeah, and he's really done nice in the coaching staff over there. Well, guys, thank you so much. I hope at some point you'll get to see an Ephrata football playoff game live in person because you guys deserve to see that. The community deserves to see that. And we're really excited that it's going to be on Blue Ridge 11 for the first time ever.
Awesome.
Friday. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Best of luck with the team.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chad. Go Mounts.